Hello my friends and welcome to another art journaling video. I am so happy you stopped by. Today I am not fussy cutting anything. Shocker. Instead I am building this page with a range of timholtz and sizzix die cuts and a couple of embossing folders. So let's dive in. Head first. Today we are using these die sets, and to save time I have already die cut a bunch from each set, and I keep them in plastic bags so I can find my pieces easily. Today I'm coloring wet on wet, and I will use Distress Oxide inks, regular Distress inks, and on top I will also use Distress mica stains for that shimmer I adore. Wet on wet means that I will cover all my die cuts with clean water first and then just drop in color and let it move and blend. I especially love the texture I get when I mix different kinds of mediums like the chalky oxides, the vibrant dye inks and the shimmering sprays. I decide on a warm color palette for the flowers with several pieces to layer on, so I add water and drop in distress inks and oxides in picked raspberry, kitsch flamingo and seedless preserves. I add the darkest color seedless preserves on the pieces I will layer on top of the big flower, and then I bring in that mica stain in fortune teller so I can get that shimmer going. I also bring in shimmer sprays in winter berry and cocktail party, and I let everything dry naturally because I want that movement and blending to do its thing. I do the same procedure for the small flower as well, and later I will also add mustard seed yellow and ripe persimmon orange to get variation among my warm colors. For the flower centers I add that yellow and orange, and for the shimmer I use mica stains in burnt ember and harvest moon. For the small leaves I use a combination of cracked pistachio, evergreen bough and pine needle, and my favorite green combo twisted citron and rustic wilderness for the bigger leaves. For the shimmer I use mica spray stains in wicked elixir and tree lot. For the next couple of flowers I combine the orange, pinks and purples and mica stains on top of course. Now all my flower layers are dry, and now it's time to put all the layering pieces together to get vibrant flowers. All pieces have lines to show you where to put the layering pieces and a picture on the packaging to guide you as well. When I have put all my flowers together, I bring out Ideology glitter cardstock and an embossing folder called Intertwined. The glitter on the glitter cardstock is printed on craft cardstock, so it's completely smooth and won't shed glitter all over your desk. I take my archival ink in Vintage Photo and rub it all over one side of the embossing folder. Then I spray the back side with water, place the glitter cardstock in the folder and run it through my die cutting machine and get that lovely texture enhanced by the brown ink, and I do the same with another piece of that same gold glitter cardstock. From these two gold glitter panels, I sketch out and cut out pieces that will become a basket of flowers. But first I find my sanding discs. I put one sanding disc on a handle and start sanding the edges of my pieces, bringing out that craft cardstock behind the glitter. When I think enough of that craft cardstock core is peeking through, I bring out Distress Inks in Vintage Photo and ground espresso. I start with the lightest brown, blending it in from the edges and lightly over the texture to enhance it. Then I do the same with my dark brown ink, and finally with just a tad of black ink. Next, I'm coloring the butterflies the same way and with the same color combinations as I used on the flowers. Clean water first, then inks, and lastly mica spray stain on top. When all my butterfly pieces are dry, I put them together piece by piece, the same way as the flowers, because they also have those lines and the packaging picture to guide you. I promise it isn't hard at all. I absolutely adore how these butterflies came out. To bring some cute humor into this project, we are now focusing on the paper cut chicks, and I am going to ink blend on the chicks with the same inks I used on the flowers and butterflies. So I start with picked raspberry for the base layer, then kitsch flamingo on the second layer, and a mica spray stain in winterberry on the wings. I already colored the eyes, beaks and feet. Because they are so small, I didn't keep that in. I make 2 batches of chicks, and for the second batch I blend Villainous Potion for the base layer, Wilted Violet for the second layer, and mica stain in Fortune Teller on the wings. And I put them together the same way as before and get these colorful birds to add to my pages. So let's make an inky background using blue and green spray inks, and for texture I mix Distress Oxide sprays in Salvage Patina, Chipped Sapphire and Rustic Wilderness with spray stain in Tumbled Glass, Priced Ribbon and Twisted Citron. I also have a dilution spray in Vibrant Turquoise, and for shimmer I have mica stain in Snow Flurry, Wicked Elixir, Shiny Bauble and Winter Frost. I work in my big dilutions journal and I have a thin washi tape over the spine to protect it. I spray lots of water first and then I spray with purpose. I mean, sprays are hard to control, but by having a plan and going from the lightest color to the darkest, you can still affect the outcome. I spray my inks first and add the shimmer sprays on top, and I tilt my journal so the colors can move and blend. When my inks have spread out the way I like, I remove the washi tape from the spine, tilt the journal so the colors move towards that spine, and use a wet brush to just spread it out over that blank space. So now I have put my basket together, and off camera I put together a coffee takeaway mug and a cup from the Cafe die set, coloring the takeaway mug with brown inks and the cup with yellow and orange. I also added some splatters, just for some extra texture. I bring out 2 alphabet die sets, and I already cut 3 of each of the bigger letters in black and stacked them on top of each other. I also cut 1 of each from a scrap piece left over from an ink smooshing session using orange and yellow. I did the same with the smaller letters, but cut the top layer from a pink scrap piece. And now I am going to glue the top layer on top of the black stacked letters, and I glue them on slightly offset to give each letter a shadow. I do the same with the smaller letters, but it was so much fiddling going on with those tiny little letters, so I spare you from that piece of the video. So now I have all my elements, and off camera I gave every die cut some highlights with a white and yellow gel pen. I am back with my dry background, and I bring out these faux wood strips made with an embossing folder called Lumber and some ink. I don't show that process in this video because I have made several videos on how to achieve that look. I glue my wood planks onto the background because I want a table for my basket and die cuts to stand on. When I have my table done, I bring out distress crayons and choose one mica crayon with shimmer and one in black soot. out. I scribble the mica crayon in winter frost around the edges and wet my finger in a baby wipe before I smudge the crayon. Then I do the same with the black crayon to darken the edges and to frame my scene. Next I glue down my gold glitter basket and start gluing down the big flowers coming in from the bottom and from the sides. Here and there I stop and cut off the excess hanging off my page and use those pieces to fill in where more flowers are needed. When I have most of the big flowers in place, I start mixing in the small flowers and tucking them in behind the big flowers or just coming in from the edges. The next step is to fill my gold glitter basket with big and small flowers, and I didn't glue the opening shut so I can place the flowers into the basket. When I'm happy with my flowers, I start gluing down the leaves, tucking them in behind flowers all over my pages. I glue down the coffee mug and cup, and then I bring out my tea ruler so my letters will be straight, saying, "Take a breath." I feel true joy when I get to glue down my lovely shimmering butterflies. When I created these pages, I thought my last detail would be to glue down 3 of my paper-cut chicks looking down on my scene. But as I was looking at my scene, I felt the coffee cup needed something to show that there really was coffee, or if you insist, tea or hot chocolate in that cup. So I brought out the cafe set again, along with a mica stain in crooked broomstick, and I color one of the pieces of hot air in that shimmering brown. Then I glue the brown and the white piece together and glue it coming up from my cup. And now, these timholtz and sizzix mixed media art journal pages are finished. Thank you so much for spending this crafty time with me. Until the next time, happy crafting.